Hey there, folks. Happy Wednesday. I am going to be trying to do some interesting technical things during today's live video. So apologies in advance if there are tech issues, but I want to use some illustrations to further describe what I'm going to be talking to you about today, which is, if you saw the title of this video, my favorite parts about being a health writer. So if you've been tuning in to these weekly videos, you've heard me talk a lot about medical communications, and health content marketing in general. You've heard me talk about my experiences as a health content marketer and as a person who started out as a pharmacist and sort of transitioned into that health content marketing space. You've heard me talk about the program, Health Professionals to Health Writers, that I am creating, or that I've created and that I'm launching right now. And today I just want to take some time for like a little more casual conversation to really talk to you about what the really high points of being a health writer have been, because I know that throughout these videos, I've mentioned impact and I've mentioned being able to affect public health on a larger scale, and that being one of the motivating factors for me for wanting to focus on health writing. But I think it also helps to kind of illustrate how I perceive my impact and the impact of other health writers out there, and just how that feels for me. So I'm gonna be using a few screenshots to kind of illustrate that point. But before I do that, let me know in the comments, over the course of these past 8 to 10 weeks, like what have been some of the high points of what you have learned about health writing? What has been something that you maybe didn't know about before that you learned about and that you found interesting? Whether you're watching it live or catching the replay, drop a comment and let me know as we talk through my favorite parts of being a health writer. So I'll just kind of put it out there. My favorite part of being a health writer is being able to get feedback and affirmation and validation from the people who are reading what I am writing and what I'm able to create through the health companies that I work with. So I'm going to be showing y'all a few of the messages. They're anonymized. I hope that's how you pronounce that word. But you won't be able to tell who it's from. There's no personal identifying information that's in them, but you will get to see just some of the messages that I get from different people who come across my content online, which is really exciting. So I'm going to try to show this first piece with you. And this one you may have actually seen on my LinkedIn account. But if you haven't, then this will be a new one for you. And this one was a really exciting one for me to receive. So let's see if I can pull this up. Sharing my screen and just that application window. So I received this message via LinkedIn about 3 or 4 months ago. And it's funny because it came through around the exact time that I started doing these videos. This person reached out and wanted to share that he had come across one of my articles, as you can see, 7 best tips for lowering your A1C. And he wanted to share, his experience with reading this article and how it impacted him. And I was just so surprised to get this message. I think the reason that I like them, that I enjoyed this part so much, is that it's unsolicited, right? Like, I'm not able to see who's reading the content that I create. As a health writer, a lot of times, in general, who your audience is. Part of creating excellent health content is knowing who you're speaking to in general, like having an idea of what that person experiences in their life, who they are, what they value, but you don't necessarily know exactly who those individual people are. And so on the occasions when I'm actually able to hear directly from those people, it's unexpected, it's unsolicited, and it just really helps to reiterate the the idea that I had going into health writing, which is that I can use writing as a skill to help get accurate and engaging and relatable information to the people who need it. So it was really, really cool to get this message. And one little learning point I can also point out here is you see that the article was called 7 Best Tips for Lowering Your A1C. I'm pretty sure that this article was in the form of a listicle. So students in health professionals to health writers will learn about listicles and other types of consumer-facing content formats. But listicles are like when you go to a website and there's like a list of different points that are being made in the article. It's broken down in a way that's easily digestible, that someone can take and understand and act on in their actual life. So this is also kind of a testament to the importance of creating content that is easily consumable and understandable for the general public, for people who don't necessarily have a healthcare background. Yes, they could go to an encyclopedia and look up, A1C, or they can go to some scientific website and look up A1C, and they can see the same information that we might know as healthcare professionals, but they don't necessarily understand what that information is telling them or understand what they should do based on that. So when we create content for the general public and people who don't have healthcare backgrounds, we do so in a way that they can actually make this information useful in their lives. And so I thought that was something to highlight here as well. So I am going to try to exit out of this. Oh, I did it. Okay. So I'll pull up the next one. This one was really exciting to receive. And as soon as I share it, I will tell you why. So this one I received, I want to say this past summer, because I actually know this person personally. And so they sent me a text message, and it's a person that I'm pretty close with. They sent me a text message and said, hey, she was pregnant at the time. She was in her third trimester, and said that she had looked up this specific topic. And one of the first articles to come up was one that I had written for this particular company. I believe this was for GoodRx based on that image and the font. I recognize it from their website. And that was really cool because I know this person personally, and it just goes to show that your reach as a health writer is so wide because so many people are using Google and other search engines to find critical health information. This person is in the healthcare field as well. So the fact that even other healthcare providers, you yourselves probably go to Google when you have certain questions about health if you don't know the answer, and you are relying on that information that you find there. So the fact that she was able to go to the internet and look up this issue and see something that a fellow health professional had written really meant a lot to me. And really, for me, underscores the importance of making sure that more health professionals and more healthcare providers are actually health writers, because people aren't just searching these things for fun, right? They're searching these topics because they have a problem and they need help to solve it. And we want to make sure that the people who are creating the resources that help them are best positioned to do so, which is why I personally believe that more health providers need to be trained as health communicators and as health writers. So that was the second. I don't have an image of this, but there was another message that I received from another close friend who's also in healthcare, who was looking up something related to allergy medicines. And she sent me a similar text message like, hey, I was curious about finding a nasal spray for my allergies, and I saw your article pop up. So I really, really enjoy getting messages like these. And there is a third that I will share with you all. I don't even remember what this one is, so let's see. Okay, I remember now. Last screen share. I'm so glad this is working out well. This person also reached out on LinkedIn, and I cut the message short because there was some like more detail than you all needed to see right here in the latter part of the message. But this one, yet another surprise to have received, I would say less than a year ago. And this person had read one of the articles that I wrote about diabetes resistance And I think the actual topic of this article was, is it possible to reverse diabetes? And so within that topic, we talked about diabetes, insulin resistance, and what that actually means, why it happens, what you do about it, things like that. And so this person reaching out about that particular topic, that was very fulfilling, because this goes back to one of my core missions with my health content writing work through StockRose, my company, is that I want to specifically write for health companies who are not afraid of creating like culturally relevant content. And in a lot of cultures, insulin resistance and diabetes reversal are popular topics. And so for this person who self-identified as Asian to come to me and say, hey, this was something that, was really, really helpful for me and really relevant to my life, that was especially impactful, because I knew that, this information is reaching specific cultures, specific groups and demographics of people who might need more information about certain topics than others. So that is the reason that this one was particularly validating for me. So I'm going to give myself a round of applause for making it through that tech time without any issues. But yeah, again, if you have any questions live or on the replay, make sure to drop them in there. I wanted to, with this particular video, emphasize that I know that I'm on the right track with health writing because of that feedback that I get from the people who are reading that content. That helps me know that I'm on the right track, and that helps me it helps confirm for me that other health professionals should be in that position as well, to be able to create health information that is far-reaching, that is accurate, that is engaging, that is relatable, that is usable, that is actionable, and that it's not necessarily a situation where you're limited to building a relationship or making an impact through one interaction. When you're in direct patient care, you are operating in a series of single interactions. Maybe there are more people involved if, there's a person with your patient or things like that, but primarily it's based on that single individual relationship. And one of the things that I love about health writing is that I'm able to have a much broader impact on public health, on health communications, on health literacy. And so that's why it's important for me to have created a program like Health Professionals to Health Writers, because honestly, I just need more of us out there. I need more of us who are trained to do that. It's not that, just because you haven't done health writing in the past, it doesn't mean that you're not capable. It just means that maybe you haven't been trained in that way. And so that's what that program is designed to do. I help professionals specifically build out their health content writing portfolio, so you have evidence of your capacity to share with potential clients, and secure your first paid health content marketing offer by the end of that 12-week program. So if you hadn't watched the Q&A about Health Professionals to Health Writers, that was the video that I did last Wednesday. That would be a great one for you to watch. But this one was just more so related to my background as a health writer and the positive experiences that I've had in this work. The reality of it is, though, that it takes time. Like, I did not start StockRose yesterday. I didn't start StockRose in 2020. I didn't start StockRose in 2019. I started writing I shouldn't say I started writing in 2017, but I started doing this type of writing in 2017, and I didn't really start picking it up until 2018. And then it took between 2018 and 2020 to get to a place where I felt like, I went full time in that business in 2018. I was able to accomplish that within that year. But then from 2018 to 2020, it was a process of honing in and working on finding exactly where my voice was most useful. But my point in providing that little timeline overview is that this is not a business that grows overnight. Health writing is not something that you learn how to do overnight. The Health Professionals to Health Writers program is 12 weeks. That's 3 months. But the fact is, the sooner that you start the process of learning, the sooner that you start the process of working on your portfolio, the sooner you can start working with clients and to start getting better if that's the field that you have chosen to grow in. For me, this was something that I started while I was working a full-time job at the CDC. I was in a writing role, but that role was more regulatory, and I wanted a more creative outlet where I was able to use my health background in a way that I felt was more beneficial to the general public. So I learned how to do this alongside a full-time job. And I think that really embracing the process of learning and taking my time and working with a coach who could help me learn like the business side of things, it was helpful. But I also acknowledged that had I had a set path to follow, that timeline may not have been as drawn out. And so that's what led me to create the Health Professionals to Health Writers program, to say, hey, I can teach you how to do these things. I can help you build your portfolio. I can teach you what you need on the business end. And I can package that all up into one 12-week program to help you get from point A to point B a lot more easily than I was able to get from point A to point B. And so in terms of enrollment for this round that starts in April, there is one spot left for the Health Professionals to Health Writers program. And there are already people who have joined the July round of the program in advance. So if any of this information about the program excites you, interests you, what you should do is just shoot me a DM and say, hey, I'm interested in the Health Professionals to Health Writers program. What do I need to do? And we'll have a chat, see if a next steps call is right for you. And then we'll take it from there. So again, if you caught this on the replay, feel free to leave any comments or questions or just shoot me a message, and I'll be talking to y'all soon. I hope you have a good day and a great rest of your week.